Oh, there we go. Now my mic's good. Welcome to another episode of SpellCast. It's your number one place for podcasts. It's a great time always. I have with me my good friend Brett here over at the Element Discord. Say hi to everyone, Brett.
What's up, everyone?
What's up? So, for those of you that don't know, ever since ThunderSin departed Element, Brett has been taking on quite a bit of responsibility coming in from the production side of things as well as planning. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of takes he has on the current state of Spellbreak and also some future competitive events that we're getting into. So to start off with Brett, let's go ahead and get into who are you, what do you do, why should everyone listen to you here today? This is your intro. Let's go.
Sure, I guess. Yeah, so I'm Brett. I've gone by a lot of gaming names in my life, but eventually I stuck with my own. You know, all the other ones made by kids and such. But yeah, so I work a lot with upper level element staff doing event planning, production. I've done live production for about 10 years now, so I've tried to translate that over into the gaming space. And I actually also just shout to Dr. Nut because he does such a fantastic job with that. But
Yeah, he really
let's see,
does.
what else do I do? I've recently become what I like to call the headmaster of the academy, working with Proletariat and their Spellbreak Academy series for new players. And let's see, what else? I guess maybe how I got into Spellbreak. I was just sitting in my room one day, and my roommate was like, "Hey, listen, I got these alpha codes from an email from this thing I completely forgot about. Do you want one?" And it was like December of 2019, and so I put it
Oh,
in,
wow.
and I got to play for like 1 week of beta one, and then
Mhm.
had to wait like 3 months right after I got a taste of the game. And so I was eager to play every single day. And the day it came back out, I was playing like 6 to 8 hours every single day, right as quarantine
Oh
hit.
my goodness. Yeah, well, I guess what else can he do, right?
And so I got really good really fast. But without practicing anymore, I try and stick more to the be in charge of things instead of competing side. So
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at with it too. Like, I'm probably not going to have as much time to put in as some of these kids out here just rocking the competition, but I can still, watch the game, think about it, and then cast it. And you're probably in a similar boat.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So really, you've been playing Spellbreak for like just over a year. I thought it's been a lot longer, but you got in. You said about the end of alpha or end of beta one, something like that.
Yeah, it really just end of beta one and then all of beta two. So really only since this like 1 year.
Oh wow, that's awesome, dude. And probably for those of you that don't know, Brett is like he's probably, I would say, the best of all the staff level people in Element. We have a meme going around in Element that if you're not competing, you're basically staff level because you're good enough to compete, but you're probably going to end up like very middle of the road if you go in. You're probably not going to take first, second, or even like 10th place or whatever, but you can still like kind of hold your own in scrims. That's what we refer to as a staff level. You're on a high level, but you're not on the next level. And Brett,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was gonna say I came out of hundreds of hours of Fortnite, and we were just trying to find a new battle royale to play. But like I can't compete in Fortnite anymore. I don't have an Adderall prescription, so like I just can't
yeah,
compete with the kids.
yeah, yeah. Me too. I definitely couldn't be on the Adderall or anything. I don't even have time now that I do this. I have content creation, and you have your whole little like element administration now. Now that Thundersin's gone, so but yeah, we can start getting into that. Like now that Thundersin has gone, obviously I have you on because you've been taking quite a bit of responsibility for the future events that we'll be putting on, like some different
hmm
tournament formats. Like I know there's been a big talk about how signups have been going on. So like, can we kind of probe into that and see where we're going in terms of competitive events?
Yeah, definitely. So Thunderson played a huge part in everything Element did, and so we were sad to see him
Yeah,
go. But now
yeah,
that now that he's no longer in charge, we have a lot more free reign over the direction that we want to take Element.
Mhm.
And so I've been excited to try and come in and say, here's a couple ideas that we can take for tournaments, especially after the last one where we received a lot of criticism based on a couple things. But one thing that I really want to see is a more fair matchmaking. And even if Proletariat doesn't give us that, I'm confident that we see these players enough that we're able to, help rank them and get them paired up in ways that it's going to give us really, really fun matches to watch and really, really fun
Mhm.
matches to play too, where we're not going to see UT or T-Fail or Kamsky kicking out
Yeah.
12 and 14 exiles in a match.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up because that was probably the catalyst of this whole thing. Qualifier one, being that Untiered immediately got in, and then it's almost like all the other competitive groups that weren't new players just kind of waited.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they saw them sign up, and then they're like, oh, I guess we're not playing in this one. We'll wait till we have a quote unquote easier qualifier or whatever, and then Untiered just got over 4,000 points, which is like unheard of. And the next highest
Right.
is like what 3,800, 3,700.
I
Something
think they
crazy.
won their qualifier by over 2,000 points.
Yeah, it was very it was interesting to cast. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I sounded like a UT fangirl whenever I was casting, just because like there's nothing other squads could do. So I'm personally happy about that one. Solar Bear in the chat's even calling out that he played in that one,
Solar
and
Bear,
is
I
one
think
of
you
many
played
squads.
in all of the qualifiers.
Yeah, literally all eight. It's unfortunate that you weren't able
Yeah,
to get in, but yeah.
I know that leading up to that tournament, the top teams, like the top 10 or 12 teams, were all screaming every single night
Yeah.
over in the UT Discord. And so they were just, while they were having their outside communication and maybe they were, trying to get into their own qualifiers or whatever they were doing. But,
Hmm.
that was just the sharpest knives going up against each other every single night,
Hmm.
making sparks and just trying to get better together.
Yeah, as my father always says, iron sharpens iron, and unfortunately, that's not the rank that everyone's playing at. It's like a diamond or challenger or higher. Um, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that in the future we're going to be getting some more equal qualifiers. So one thing we've been talking about on the inside is possibly bringing in a one-time sign up type of deal. Anything you can expand on that y'all are ready to reveal or what?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, one thing that we're phasing out is the scrim rolls. That was definitely an
Hmm.
incentive to come and play throughout the week or a couple weeks leading up to a sign up, so that you can get priority.
Hmm.
But what that was doing was creating a lot more work for administration. And as we saw that start
Yeah.
to break down, as people had other commitments and just weren't able to get things to the minute, that it
Hmm.
was really really inhibiting some teams and some players and even us, and just being able to manage all of that. And so having a one-time sign up, as we're looking to do soon, we're
Hmm.
just going to be able to take the top X amount of people and say, you know what, this is who's here, this is how they're going to play, this is who they're going to play. um and we're still talking about like how players will be available, how we're going to say, yeah, you're going to play now.
Hmm.
And of course, there's always going to be criticism based on, saying, why do I have to play this one? Why do I have to play this one? But we're as a team, we're trying our best to get it to be as even a playing field as possible, because we want everyone's success and fun just as much as they do.
Yeah, for real. And I think from a casting perspective, it's really important to, have that sort of similar competition. That way, we're not having to like, basically, like I said earlier, fangirl over one team just absolutely demolishing a lobby. So
Hmm.
that's gonna be a really really big boon to our production side of things. So that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah. So are we thinking like a one time sign up for like a week at a time or something, and then just kind of hand picking and placing from there?
Yeah,
Um,
I think a good time frame is somewhere between 4 and 7 days, just enough time that anyone can hop on their phone, on their computer, and put their name down. And of
mhm.
course, I mean, we're still going to see a flood within the first 30 seconds of
Yeah.
everyone who's just like really really like gnawing at the bit to get into a tournament. But this way we'll be able to just see everyone that wants to play, get
Mhm.
everyone in there that we can, and then go from there.
Yeah, and hopefully, hopefully with this new influx of players coming in on Tuesday with the Steam release, that's going to be it's going to be really fun to see like how all these sort of newer teams come out. Because I know there's like some really really good players from way back when that wouldn't play the game now that's on Epic and away from Steam. So kind of like how a CNT situation happened where you have a bunch of pre-alpha vets who aren't even up to level 20 yet on the full release. They still hop in the comp in the competitive Discord, and they're still stomping everybody. So I'm personally excited to see if we're going to see any old names coming in from that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love to see someone like Ramen and the other STK players come back in and throw their names in the ring.
Yeah, for sure. I know that they've personally been dealing with Valorant pretty well. Like I've been hearing nothing but good things about their performances.
Yeah, they've been popping off for sure.
Yeah, hopefully they'll come on back if we can if Spellbreak can give something a little bit more exciting than the current meta we're in. But in any case, that's actually a nice little segue going into chapter 1 here. I want to talk about some of the changes that you're excited to see. If you've heard of any like floating around in the rumor mill by Jesse and prominent players such as that. You probably saw the IGN trailer with that actually revealed a little bit about Pyromancer.
A little bit.
Yeah. Any particular changes that you're excited to see coming in?
I mean, something that I am excited to see is the class, maybe not reworks, but the class changes that are coming in. I don't personally play Tempest, but I know a lot of people who do, and with the jar, and so
that's just for Solar Bear. He always asks what's the mason jar.
Yeah, and so for something I would love to see, I remember Taco was talking about was just a little more horizontal movement in the air as Tempest. Like I think that would just work it so well. Other things I would like to see, back when they changed, maybe it was still in beta 2, or I don't know if it came out in launch, but when they put the stone passive of generating 20 armor without a belt, that was something that I had been begging for, as like the two primary classes that I play are Pyromancer and Stone Shaper. So yeah, call me bad, I play easy classes, whatever. I have a lot of fun. I'll smack you around on them. The most like consistent phrase I would say is I'm useless until I get a belt. I'm useless until I get a belt. I can't fight until I get a belt.
Yeah.
And when I saw that change, when I saw an issue that I had found be changed in a very positive way, it made me optimistic for how they change things in the future. They're not trying to like nerf classes into the ground and just absolutely send players that were good at like Toxicologists into oblivion by making outbreak damage 25%.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that I'm also looking forward to with chapter 1 is just like meta changes are always exciting. And if they're able to deal effectively with potential energy and conduit in any capacity, like literally any change, I think it's going to be out of this world.
I knew that would come up as soon as I talked about these new patches. So with conduit, we don't have any like 100% going to happen changes coming from Jesse. One of the things that he mentioned to Tacos in the post, I'm sure you saw, was that he's planning on having changes to lightning, but no mention of the class conduit. So I'm not sure if that means like that lightning is being like reworked or if it's being tweaked, like, because the only word that we have is changes, and changes could mean either buffs or nerfs. I would imagine lightning's getting nerfed because everyone whines about it. And they're
if they buff it.
I know, right? You're gonna just see Twitter posts from some of the more prominent. I won't say any names here on Spellcast, but like, anyone who's watching who's been paying attention knows who cries the most about some of these builds. And I would feel like there'd be a lot of crying coming out from a few specific people if lightning was buffed in any way. What me and Doctor were theorizing the other day is like maybe they put a little bit less cast speed on it. That way it doesn't ramp up as much, and potential energy and all those things kind of just fall off a little bit more. But like, I'm more interested in my own opinion about what the Frostborn changes might be, because I feel like they have a real opportunity to just open that one wide open.
And I see something Solar Bear saying as well, as if they would touch Frostborn offhand, just
Mm,
because I feel awful anytime I'm playing Pyro and I pass up a Purple Frost because I want to play Dragonfire.
yeah,
Like don't get me wrong, I love Dragonfire, it's incredible, and just
EF main in
the
2020
close
kicked
fight
on.
initiates plus burst damage, out of this world, love it. But just not being able to get that like consistent poke at range and other advantages of Frost offhand
Hmm.
is interesting. So I think to see it, like, it's almost imperative to carry on any class as an offhand in competitive.
Yeah.
You see Stone Shapers with a Frost Gauntlet, you see Toxicologists, you see Tempests, you see Pyromancers. Everyone's carrying one.
Hmm.
You're gonna get skewered.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Even Megaverse to some extent has picked it up. Like he used to run Stone Shaper and Fire, and now he runs Stone Shaper and Frost in competitive. It's kind of crazy to see him change over just because of how good that particular gauntlet is. Because like Stone can cover short range pretty well, and then why are you even carrying Fire at that point? You just cover your options a little bit better. But I'm very interested to see what they're going to be doing with Frost offhand because like this is the current iteration that we have is a nerf from how it was previous. If they just keep nerfing it down, like what I'm wondering is like in what direction are they going to take it? Are they
Mhm.
going to nerf charge up time? Are they going to nerf damage? Like what is it that they can do to make it still feel good, but not like a must pick on every class pretty much.
Right. Hit scan Frost, baby.
That's gonna be the new class, coming out, the arcane class. It's gonna just amplify everything in your other hand. That's gonna be one of the skills, and I can feel the hit scan frost coming out. I can feel it.
Yeah, so something like
That'll
you
be a
send
day.
the ice lance through an arcane portal, instantly hitting your target.
Can you imagine like those new portals coming out with chapter one, like the ones that send you back up and drop you back down, just
Mhm.
shooting an ice lance through it and then having it rain down from above. That would be
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a
so
really
stupid.
interesting change as well. Obviously Fortnite has already done something like this with the rifts.
Yeah.
Maybe over a year ago even. I forget exactly when
I,
those came out, but
Yeah, I don't follow Fortnite. I'm just following Twitter right now.
yeah, and well, yeah, since I played that a lot before Spellbreak, I'm more knowledgeable in that space, even though I stopped right about season 8.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and now that Blink is in Fortnite too. Oh, it would be incredible for it to come back and for Proletariat to say, "Hey, we did it first. Here it is in all its glory. Pick it up and do
So
something with it."
okay, so that leads into another question because I posted on Twitter. I retweeted the little clip of what's in the chest, and it. By the way, this is a joke. It's like a half joke because I said, look, Blink is in the chest. Get excited, kind of thing, and like
Mhm.
it's a joke. But at the same time, if it happens, I wouldn't be upset about it.
I don't think really anyone would. Like, yes, it does increase the skill cap that is already high in this game. However, it is just so fun,
It's
and
fun.
it just allows for
Yeah.
such crazy plays.
Yeah. And like one of the bigger concerns is that when we had Blink previously, there wasn't even like a rival rune because like it was
Mhm.
basically find Blink, win game in that order. Um, but like now, I feel like we have Dash that can do really well in terms of like varying up your movement. Blink is kind of like if you ever seen, you know what Blink is. Obviously, it's a short
Right.
dash in one direction. One of the things that really made it unique was that like blink itself can only go in one direction and it's whatever direction you're facing, so like there was like
Mhm.
this sort of discrepancy between PC players who used it and console players because they can't flick as well.
Where you can flick around,
um,
yeah.
yeah, so what I'm kind of thinking is like maybe you take in the directional aspect that dash has where you can like hold back and then just dash back. They might end up doing that. And if they end up bringing Blink back, like how is that going to affect all the other classes? Is really what I want to get into.
Mhm. That would be interesting because that would definitely aid toxicologists with a gap closer.
Yeah.
It would.
But we got
I
to talk about
personally
Shadow Step too later on. But continue.
true. I play a lot of teleport Stone Shaper, so that would be a pretty similar idea there. to like kind of blink around like trees or fences or other like untargetable terrain, I guess I would call it. The
Mhm.
one that your shockwave isn't gonna run over.
Right.
I don't think it would help Frost much. And if anything, it's a counter to them to allow you to get around and get out of their aim.
Mhm.
And I think against Conduit as well in that kind of that same vein in just being able to gap close and stay out of their line of sight.
Yeah.
Tempest, I don't know. Tempest can just go live in their own world for a while.
Well, that's the thing too, is that like Blink, kind of like how Shadow Step is, like maybe they make it to where it doesn't conserve momentum like it used to. That could be a decent trade-off because Tempest really like that momentum transfer with Dash and Spring Step, and Pyromancers really like the momentum transfer with Dash into Firefly. So
Hmm.
you might make it, yeah, it's a shortened dash, but like it doesn't conserve momentum. So like you can make it kind of with that property. That way it has like a downside, but at the same time it's also really good. So maybe that's what you could do. And also you wouldn't have the ability to squiggle it like you could with dash that Solar Bear is pointing out.
I mean, Squiggle Dash is great, but also I value my shoulder.
Yeah, that too. Imagine like, I don't know. I play on 400 DPI, so like whenever I squiggle dash, it's like
Hmm.
one end of the mouse pad to the other.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's like throwing your mouse across the room if you accidentally let go.
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I think Blink in today's world probably would still dominate the meta. But they could like change something to where, because before it had multiple rune charges just on base, and it was like
Hmm.
a 3 second cooldown if I remember correctly. So you could have Blink up like almost at all times. I feel like they could shift that around, so that it's not as obnoxious as it used to be. But
Yeah, I never actually got to play with it. I only watch all of Campsy's clips with it.
yeah, it was insane if you ever play with it. Like it was literally, because at the time we had spell hover too. So like you would shoot, if you shot something in midair, you would like float there, kind of like how you do with Frostborn, except it would like you would float there until the casting animation was done, and then you'd slowly fall. So like it was kind
Hmm.
of a punishment for shooting in the air. Um, and that's kind of when Blink got removed, and then they removed that. Now that you have now that you don't have the hover, that would be interesting to see like how you could blink and then not have to worry about the hover and then blink again. That was kind of what made Blink really strong, is that you could negate the hover part. So
Okay, sure.
now that you have a different option, could be a little bit better for the meta. But
Right,
speaking
and
of the
then and
meta,
then
go ahead.
I was gonna say back to Shadow Step, right?
Yeah, I was
Um,
about to get into that.
because I'm not mistaken, they never hot fixed the momentum transfer. Is that correct, or did they?
It's correct, but I actually DM'd Andy about this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, asking like if it's a bug and is it going to get removed, and the answer
Right,
was yes. So the momentum transfer is going away, supposedly.
right. Which when it first like I picked up the first time and I used it, and I was like, wait a minute, this feels wrong.
Yeah,
It was, and I'm sure it's great for people that play Toxicologist. I'm the worst Toxicologist, and for people that use Shadow Step,
it's
but the way that
yeah,
I use it to reposition, it just threw my aim off completely. Like if I Shadow Step to the
yeah,
side and I'm ready to throw a fireball, I'm gonna
hmm
keep going instead of stopping where I am. And I
yeah,
just it just it didn't work. It didn't work. So I'm excited
yeah.
to see the change come back.
Yeah, I've actually heard from Trago too. Like he posted something that said, or maybe it was a DM to me. He was like, "Yeah, everyone's seeing this as a nerf to Shadow Step. I'm actually seeing it as a buff because I can just Shadow Step and immediately like know where I'm aiming, and
Hmm.
therefore Toxicologist is actually getting stronger by taking the momentum off."
Interesting.
So yeah, like this really opens the door to like different play styles you can take advantage of. Trago being like one of the best toxicologists that we have,
Oh, absolutely.
um, like coming from him, like you would think it means something.
Yeah, I would definitely value his opinion on that. And if you hear otherwise, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, probably. Um, at the same time, though, I'm also hearing from Tfal that he really likes the momentum transfer. So like, I don't know. I feel like for Tempest as well, like the loss of momentum transfer probably going to hurt for them. But they don't really use Shadow Step anyway, so maybe that doesn't matter.
Yeah, I definitely see more dashes on a Tempest with Toxicologist offhand.
Yeah, yeah. Tfal even showed it today. That was insane, by the way. What he was able to do with that.
Really everything that kid can do is just out of this world.
It's insane, dude. Like I struggle because like he's like what 15? Is he 15 right now?
15 or 16. I think you're right on 15.
Yeah, I think he's 15. And literally just like has the skill of a god already. It's crazy. It's crazy like how some of these kids can just like not be born with it, but like have more of an affinity to it than other people. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
All right, we're getting sidetracked though. So going into another change everyone's excited to see, recovery. Do you want to see it get nerfed in the ground, or do you want to see it still in the meta somewhere?
I don't want to see it nerfed into the ground, and I wouldn't call myself a crutcher, but recovery is definitely it's
It's like,
definitely a must-run talent. It is your
yeah,
survivability.
yeah. It's
It,
like
it
if you're not running it, you're trolling pretty much in some builds.
hmm Yeah, like you just with such high burst damage and not a lot of ways to disengage a fight effectively, you need a way to keep fighting, and that provides a way to keep fighting until you're able to end it.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
just trying
is
to.
it awful how strong it is? Yes. I absolutely hate it. I hate having it. I hate playing against it, everything.
Mhm.
But like I forget whose clip it was, but I saw it. It was out healing a conduit beam from in like an end circle. So it was probably like a blue or purple lightning gauntlet.
Really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
the way recovery can just stack up on itself instead of having some kind of timer to reset it or only allowing a certain amount of stacks.
Hmm.
It's out of control.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on the stacks thing. That's one of the things that I'm kind of interested if that's the route they're gonna go. Like make it to where you can recover one source of damage for the amount of time it takes to restore it, or
hmm
like they could just lower the amount it restores. Before all they did was just nerf how long it takes to recover from whatever damage source you took. So like right now we have it to where 3 scrolls takes 6 seconds to heal 50% of whatever hits you. It used to be 4 seconds.
Right,
Uh,
but even then, not that a longer timer would benefit you, but a longer timer would almost make you more tanky if you're only taking poke damage because you're just stacking up those little bits of health on top of each other
yeah,
that you're constantly recovering.
yeah. If you saw, it didn't really do too much. Like recovery was good then, and it's still good now.
hmm
Like I feel like you almost need to reduce the healing, like to 30% or something.
Yeah, the
It's,
fact that it
it's
was
ridiculous.
groundbreaking news that one of our players had escapist in one of the last matches was
Yeah,
was
T-foul by the way.
probably indication that it's a little strong.
Yeah, T-foul by the way. It's the one that had that. I remember that.
Was okay, it was.
Yeah, that's. I, speaking of escapist, dude, I'm so glad that it's back or that it's even here. I don't think it's been back from any sort of glory, but I'm glad that it's actually used. That we actually
Yeah,
have some
definitely.
movement speed. Speaking of movement speed, going back to Frostborn, I will say this until the end of time. I really want original Frozen Alacrity to come back. I don't know if you've seen any clips of pre-alpha Spellbreak
I
where
have absolutely
yeah
zooming.
yeah like you feel like Frozone. It's crazy. It's like that's the kind of speed that I want back because that's what got me into Spellbreak was the amount of movement that you could use in
hmm
addition to the spells. And being able to just zoom across the map on Frozen Alacrity. And like even back in the day, there was a function to where if you took Featherfall and you were on Alacrity, it would conserve your momentum. So you had people
Oh
just like
wow.
flying halfway across the map.
Mhm.
Obviously, they took that out like pretty quickly. Um, but just being able to go that fast in general, I feel like would be like that would make Frostborn probably the strongest class if only Frostborns could skate on it, which is another thing I want to see changed.
Man, I could just imagine like coming out of Dustpool Hold, getting like one or two Alacrity trails down, and just
Mm-hmm.
jumping feather falling into like Halcyon.
It'd be like an enemy AC 130. It'd be crazy.
You just
He's
come flying in with Fireball offhand.
yeah, and what's crazy is with ambidextrous, any class could have that
hmm
if they just run Frostborn.
Oh,
If they just
true.
run offhand Frost, like any class could have that. That'd be crazy. So like maybe you wouldn't like man that would like indirectly make Frost offhand really really good. Maybe that's what they're planning. Maybe that's why they're nerfing or potentially nerfing the Frost offhand is that they're expecting a faster alacrity and
They're
ambidextrous
just
kind of having.
mhm. They're just marinating us in rumors so that when they give
Yeah.
us the big reveal, they can be like, haha, we got you what you wanted, except you didn't know you wanted it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I love it when devs do that. It's like they introduce something that big. Which, speaking of which, there's been talk about them talking about a meta shift coming in the next patch, which makes me think huge changes. And they're no stranger to huge changes, especially in the past. It's like they went from having a 2-class system to not even having talents, and they went from Blink being completely removed and other things being completely vaulted. Like, they're no stranger to this kind of thing. So what I'm kind of thinking is, like, what sort of sweeping changes could we see that's going to really, like, shake everything up?
I think to tie back to what's in the chest, I am optimistic, but would not be disappointed if it's not. But nonetheless, I'm optimistic that a new class gauntlet is inside that chest.
I almost think that too. I want to think
It's
that.
here. It's here to shake up the meta.
I think so. I'm just trying to think, like, because we know from Twitch Rivals that when it was announced, it's based on something that's already in the game.
Mm-hmm.
What's already in the game that we could build off of? Obviously, there's trees. There's people have been talking about a water gauntlet. I'm a personal proponent of an arcane class with a noodle. I just love the noodle. But
alternatively,
what could it be?
Hear me out.
Okay.
Tinfoil hats.
Oh, I wish I had some.
We progressed throughout the chapter, collecting research on the storm, on the spell storm, gathering data, researching runes and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then partway through the chapter, or at the end of the chapter, maybe we have to wait till the end, but at the end of the chapter, we're able to harness the power of the spell storm into some other kind of gauntlet. Which would probably be the arcane. Which in that instance would probably be the arcane.
Interesting. Now, I'm just trying to think, like, if it's an arcane, what could I think the spell would obviously be a stronger noodle or something along those lines, like something that's already natural to a breaker. But what could the sorcery be? That's what I kind of want to figure out.
Man, I loved Crash's video, his theory video on Arcane Gauntlet with the concept art that his friend drew.
Yeah, I like the concept art too.
It was incredible, and it was so well thought out. I would definitely recommend watching that after this because it's better than anything I could ever come up with.
Yeah. I forgot what the sorcery was for it though. Like, I know what the class talents are and they're broken as hell, but yeah, I don't remember what the sorcery was. I'll have to keep a look on that.
Ooh, I don't either. Maybe it was like a maybe it was like a puddle that like augmented other things.
Maybe so. Well, anyway.
But yeah, but I think that makes the most sense to augment other abilities since you wield the arcane magic anyway.
Yeah, it could potentially fill that role. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, we only have like 3 days left for that to happen, so I mean, anything could happen between now and then.
It's about time. Get excited, everyone.
Literally Monday, we have a patch note stream.
Please.
Yeah, and stay this time. 5 million accounts, and we need some kind of progression. I hope that's one thing I really hope comes in is that it's more than just a chapter that keeps people around. And in that vein, they didn't foresee Clash kind of making it to where players could speed run the chapter. I'm very confident that they're going to have something in place to where you can't like just zoom through it like you used to. At the same time, I feel like it takes more than a chapter to keep people playing. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's kind of my feeling on it.
Well, if anything for me, Clash slowed down my progression because I love playing solos and
oh really?
With Clash absolutely decimating lobbies, which don't get me wrong.
Okay, imagine that's not a problem though.
That's fair. Like I don't mind, but again, I don't mind low player count lobbies. The most fun I've ever had in this game was playing with 6 people at 3:00 in the morning on NA East, and we all just hop in a voice call, and it's only us playing against each other. But
36 are your best
from what I remember of seeing my XP, that it took longer for a Clash game to finish for less XP than a solo match, than winning a solo match.
Yeah, I think they're changing that too, if I remember correctly, because that's apparently a bug. We can get into this a little bit later, but their lack of hot fixes, I feel like, has me a little bit worried.
Especially when they say, we know this needs to be fixed, and we will.
Yeah.
And then it just gets packaged into everything that we'll get later.
Yeah. I feel like part of it's COVID, like them not being in a studio together I feel like that's part of it. At the
That's
same
very
time,
possible.
it shouldn't be an excuse. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but anyway,
Maybe. We're not game developers.
yeah, we're not. And speaking of that, like, do you pay attention to Jesse's daily posts
I
at
do
all?
not. Nope.
Okay, well, now that you're on Twitter, by the way, go follow Brett on Twitter. Now that you're on Twitter, you finally have access to this. Jesse is one of the best people to follow. It's at Curlin Cheek. And daily he posts like what his assignment is for that day. So he'll post like, oh, I have 2 meetings for one-on-ones. I'm talking about a new game mode today, or I'm talking about finalizing chapter 2 quests. It's one of the things he said. Chapter 2 quests. Yeah, they're already thinking that far ahead. So I'm kind of thinking, where is the room for hot fixes in the middle of that? Like, would it be a bi-weekly thing? Or are we just going to be sitting here for 3 months at a time? Like, what could that schedule be like? I hope that it's hot fixes available in 2 weeks, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
I mean, they would have to dedicate time to it, because if they're scheduling things that far in advance, right? Like, how long is the chapter? 60 days? 90 days?
It's 3 months. It's 12 weeks. So
Okay.
like,
So, yeah,
that's what?
So 90 days.
Somewhere in there.
Then yeah, I would definitely hope that they aren't working on a 90-day advanced schedule without room to fit things that go wrong in somewhere, without throwing everything off schedule, you know?
Yeah. I feel like you kind of have to do that. Like, it's standard.
Like, if you're gonna plan that far ahead, you need to have a fallback.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I just don't think we've been shown enough examples of them quickly getting something fixed when it's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, they used to be really good about that. Even in beta, they were really good about that. Then for some reason, it just kind of fell off. So hopefully that changes. I feel like this prologue thing kind of messed everything up. But on another topic too, now that they have 4, this is the real reason. They have 4 platforms to deal with, and some changes that they have to make have to be approved by all these different consoles and all these different companies. That I think they weren't anticipating to be a problem. So man, I'm really hoping that changes.
That's true. One of my close family members is a game developer, actually, and so we used to work with Xbox, Steam, and Apple. I don't know why it wasn't on the Google Play Store, but it was only on the App Store. And Apple was always the hardest one to go against. So thankfully, it's not Spellbreak Mobile.
Yeah.
But yeah, having to wait to hear back from different places, and just to apply and get denied, say, oh yeah, you forgot to add a way to close out of this menu, and you have to wait another like 5 days to get approved again.
Oh wow, that long, huh?
I mean that was not necessarily that long, just for an example, but
yeah, dang, that sucks. Hopefully they can get that all together, though. I have faith. I have blind faith. But anyway,
absolutely.
Yeah, blind faith. Hashtag give Brett a blind faith. won't happen, but we can always say it.
I have. Just as a side note, if you look in my outfit collection, I have spent over like between $800 and $900 on outfits in this game.
Holy moly!
And I need a hollow skin or a blind faith. I need something.
something exclusive. Yeah.
I have Keymaster and all the consoles, but I just can't flex, you know?
Yeah, just can't flex in your chandelier skin. It's fine. Okay, so getting into chapter 1, changes that aren't classes and gauntlets. Obviously, Bogmore is getting an overhaul, and I believe we were looking at one of Crashy's tweets that I can bring up here. It's part of their wallpaper thing. I'm actually going to put it up on the screen so that everyone can see this. Let's see. At Crashy. By the way, if you haven't followed Crashy, he's pretty on top of all of this. He works from home, so he has like all this time to really like be up to date, I guess is the right word. Let's see. There we are. So
one thing I wanted to say. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut off.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things that I saw from the screenshots with that new Bogmore is just the verticality looks incredible. I can't wait to play on it.
Yeah, that too. I can show a picture of that too. Um, but here we go. Should be good. So this is one of the things that we're talking about. His post says, surely this is a respawn slash res location, right? Um, I hope. I really hope
I
that this
mean,
gets added.
yeah, I mean every other game has it, and while you
Yeah.
can't copy other games, you know, like
Oh, you can't?
I think
I
I think
can.
I think you're talking with James about it, that
Yeah.
if that's what players want and that's how it's a win-win-win-win situation for everyone playing the game. You get
Hmm.
more kills, you get your teammate back, you get to keep playing the game.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you have it? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Especially in a game based on magic, like where you can
Hmm.
literally put anything and have a lore excuse. You don't even have to go like you don't even have to like bend that immersion or whatever you want players to feel. Like it's
True.
you can do it easy.
Just like who refolds all of the white socks that come out of chests.
I don't know, man. It's crazy. Who does it? Will we ever know? It's actually a Vera on our off days.
On our off days. Until then, they're just laundry piles up with all the boots.
Yeah, exactly. There's a big pile of laundry in a Vera's house, just waiting to get them all back in chests. Um, yeah, so that's a thing that we're looking forward to. I'm trying to look and see if he has Bogmore changes on here. I'm sure he does somewhere. But anyway.
Yeah, I think between the screenshots that came out and the IGN trailer,
Hmm.
they've only given us very small tastes of things to look forward to, but they're still exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like just giving that little bit of taste is a good move on their part. Here we go. This is better.
Yeah, instead of something like Among Us, where they're like, here's a new map. Go analyze every part of it before we give it to you and speculate on what it is. It's like, here's a little taste, a little screenshot of what the new location will be, and so you can want to play it when it comes.
Yeah. So this is a low res version that I was able to find, but like that's the kind of thing that we're looking at for Bogmore. Like you can see, if you can see my mouse up here, there's like little pits right here. And you have these giant freaking towers that you can climb up here, and every one of these little ledges, the way that collision works in Spellbreak, should be able to like be climbed on. Like there's that too. This is just like this is a toxicologist in Tempest playground. This is amazing.
Well, I mean, all if they're climbable, all I'm seeing is Sawtooth 2.0 and Stone Shaper Frenzy.
Well, like the thing with Sawtooth Mountain is that like the shockwaves travel down the actual slopes of the mountain, which by the way,
Hmm.
stone's another thing that's getting changed. So hopefully they'll do something about the hitbox.
True.
What basically what I like to see is the height of it changed. Um,
I
I
would
think
if I could see that change in any way, I would like it to be like Combust, where you take less damage if you're further away from the ground.
yeah, that's kind of what I've said too.
Hmm.
I feel like that would be a good change.
It
But
just it just it's just logical, and we've already seen them do it with Combust. So
yeah, speaking of combust, they are nerfing that. That's confirmed through their test build that they have.
oh man, I gotta
Like,
go aim. Like, come on, man.
I know, right? You actually have to like hit the person instead of the ground.
No, it's okay. I'll just throw a poison cloud at him and blow it up.
Right, because that's what you do. DF main in 2020, as you like to say.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And then, so yeah, in terms of like the direction of the game, where it's going, I mean, obviously, they're really holding on to that battle royale title.
Hmm.
Would really like to see that change. What are your thoughts?
I don't mind. I play Spellbreak because I love the game. I love how it feels, and I don't mind looting for 7 minutes and then going to fight three people. I'm always
Mm-hmm.
going to load up into another game. That's just how I am, and I might have
Mm-hmm.
an unpopular, kind of attitude in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think while other game modes would be really exciting, like an objective based or arena, um,
Mm-hmm.
I've never met a gamer who doesn't want to be ranked in something.
Yeah,
Anything like those.
I think it's a big one.
But battle royale as a whole is, it just has such an accessibility and provides such a good space for skill expression sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
that it's something that is good to hold on to, but not but not to like reach for. They don't want their penultimate goal to be a great battle royale.
Yeah, I feel that too. I feel like it is a good mode to have, um, especially for right now. Like obviously they're double downing on like marketing it as a battle royale game. A part of me feels like they do that because it's like the mode that's most prepared for right now. Like it's the one that they've put all this time into and perfected. Obviously, Clash could lose the looting phase, in my opinion. It's kind of a meme at this point that everything has a looting phase.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
so
especially since everyone's gonna end up with gold equipment at like
yeah,
on the second circle anyway.
yeah, I feel like you could just preload out. Or like one of the ideas that somebody had was just like while you're waiting in the initial lobby to drop into a game, like whatever gear you pick up there, you just bring in and then you can upgrade it from there.
I
That's
don't want to see that unless I can mute the pregame lobby, so I can not have my ears blasted out trying to grab my gear.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like they just need to put in like a preload out of some kind. Doesn't have to be the lobby, but a preload out would be cool. Speaking of ranked mode, like, I mean, I think it's needed, especially if you want to bring in like a new game mode like capture the flag or arena mode or whatever. I think Seth mentioned on the stream that he wants like a CS:GO type thing if he could snap his fingers and change something. So having that loadout would definitely be a big plus in my mind.
Yeah, I think even a super fun way to change Clash would be like a King of the Hill. You know,
Yeah,
just put a secondary circle inside of the zone and give score based on that. You know,
yeah, could do that.
that would refresh it and give an objective instead of just kill people.
Yeah, I feel like that could work. Like changing up different game modes. That's one of the things that I believe in episode 2 Tacos was talking to me about was that Marcus, aka Apostle, was in a playtest of Clash, and they were able to give feedback on what they would change. And one of the things he said was like, first of all, removing the looting phase, but second, like just the fact that they're taking potential ideas for changing up Clash, because I personally feel like it's too slow in the beginning. It's a little bit uncoordinated, but like once you get into the big action, it's a lot better. Like maybe they do end up putting a different sort of aspect to it. Maybe they do. I don't know if they would, but it'd be cool.
I think the looting phase just lacks direction because it's like, yes, you have the two halves, but you can go on to the other half.
Like I like to do.
Loot. There's gold loot everywhere, like in mana vaults, but you still kind of have to loot other things. You can fight. You don't have to fight. Like this, you might have to run to the zone all the way across the map. By the way, if you're across the map on the zone, get your loot and just hop into a fracture and fly over there. It's worth the 1 point.
Yeah,
I don't want to
for
play
sure.
Running Simulator.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've kind of taken to do that too. It's pretty handy. But yeah, in terms of new game modes that you like to see, I'm personally like I'm a fan of sort of a capture the flag / arena style. Is there anything in particular you'd like to see?
I mean, an idea that kind of like a pipe dream that's been thrown around is like a Nexus war kind of thing. Like they showcased in Black Clover when they did the Grand Magic Nights.
Okay, can you explain that one to me?
So yeah, so basically on two sides of a map there would be like a Nexus or a crystal encased in some kind of armor, and on like a small team 3v3 5v5, you'd have to attack and defend the map to be able to deal damage to the Nexus until it explodes.
Oh, so like a League of Legends style thing, but not a MOBA.
Right. No towers either. It's just people.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that could be fun. Be kind of worked into the whole capture the flag type of thing in some way. Like instead of
same kind of idea.
yeah, like instead of rotating up to the flag and then running back with it, you could potentially just have a base that you need to attack and then like absorb some kind of essence off of it and then run it back to your own to build like bolster your defenses that way. So that way like you just go until one base is done.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like capture the flag has some real big potential to be brought into. So yeah,
I think another thing I would like to see, like this is like very low level, like easiest change, timer on Clash, and King of the Hill.
Yeah, I can see that. So in terms of the overall direction of the game, obviously like especially in the earlier stages, you probably saw in beta, this game is really marketed towards a casual experience.
Yeah, definitely.
and and we just kind of morph competitive around it. Now that
Hmm.
they're actually like financially supporting the competitive side, are you expecting like any sort of competitively oriented changes to come?
I don't think I'm expecting that off the bat. Um, I mean, they've mentioned offhand that they want ranked at some point,
Hmm.
and I don't want to bank
Jesse
on that.
Jesse says he talks about it every day.
Yeah, and Jesse's fighting for us in every way that he can, and all we can do
Yeah,
is piggyback on his
for real.
discipline in trying to get everyone else to institute a rank.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't think we're gonna see them try and balance competitive in any way. Um, it's just wholly different from how Riot like tunes their champions and says how is
Yeah.
this going to perform in Iron and in
Hmm.
in in Diamond and in Pro. That's not going
Hmm.
to happen for us. They're not going to say what is Pyromancer going to look like at level 1 and at level 30 and on T-Fal's hand. You know,
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. On T-Fal's hand. It reminds me of
I
how they
mean,
balance Riven in League of Legends.
I mean that kid hits different.
Yeah, it really does. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I don't think that they're going to look at a specific rank and see how something is doing and then change off there. I feel like what they're going to end up doing in terms of the competitive side of things, if they get the resources to do it, is implement maybe not like a fully okay. So everyone wants custom lobbies for the competitive side. I feel like that's
Hmm.
not even an argument. Um, I don't think at this moment, I might be wrong, but I don't think at this moment they have the resources to be able to do that for everybody playing the game. And
Right.
it's like it's been kind of a shift really because like even going back in time like to like 2004 or 2005, like it's almost like private lobbies and multiplayer games were like standard, especially in like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 days and Modern,
Hmm.
I don't know if Modern Warfare had it, but I know Modern Warfare 3 had. It's almost like something that's gone out of style. Like I don't know
Hmm.
why. Like I know it's kind of resource intensive to some extent. At the
Right.
same yeah, at the same time like I don't know, maybe you could implement like uh a limited private lobby sort of system.
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
for
I
right
mean, they've
now.
shown us that. I mean, it was their test server or something like that. But I mean, they've
Yeah.
shown us they can and will do it. For Twitch Rivals and
Yeah, but that's like a
for other
singular event, you know.
right and for other upcoming events, they've already confirmed that they'll do that as well. And so we know that they're willing to do it on a small scale.
Mhm.
And hey, Element is a small scale operation. We don't ask for much, but if they could give us something that would if they're going to be giving us money to give players,
Mhm.
then to me that feels like a small ask in being able to aid just the player experience as a whole.
Yeah.
One of the jokes I like to make in the Twitch chat is saying I feel bad for any new player that queues in because they're going to go straight to the Reddit and say all the alpha testers are killing me, why are they in my lobby?
Yeah, what a title to put on your card. Pre-alpha tester, alpha tester. They're probably looking at that like, yeah, it's a source of pride, but now everyone on Reddit complains about it. What are we gonna do? Like, obviously they're not gonna take that away, but like,
Mm.
that's something
I
I
mean
didn't even think would happen, to be
they
honest.
took away my blue Marla. They'll take away anything they want.
Oh no, Blue Marla, it's a rip. I miss playing with Blue Marla. I won't pay for it because they're charging for it, but like,
I paid
it's a
for it
rip.
because I have to play with it. It's an obligation.
I know you have $800 $900 of skin in the game, so you do what you want, Brett. Um, but yeah, to finish off here, I want to talk about like some of the game direction changes that they could make. Like obviously we're talking about like they're probably balancing it more on the casual side as opposed to competitive side. Do you see any like potential problems with that coming up in terms of like how enjoyable the game is, or what we're looking at going forward with some of these game modes that are coming out? Like, do you think that it'll be hyper casualized, or do you think that they're actually going to lean into like actual balancing?
I don't think they're going to go into actual balancing. Like we talked about before with them hot fixing, if they're not going to be bound or making any changes on a biweekly ish basis,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be trying to focus on that. I don't think it's going to go the other way either. I don't think it's going to become hyper casual. I think it'll kind of stay how it is. Well, they'll drop a couple, like hard hitting, game changing things on us, and then just
Mm-hmm.
kind of step away for a while. Because some of my closest friends in the game and outside of it, kind of pop in
Mm-hmm.
and out at the beginning of new patches and say, "Cool, I want to play this game,"
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't have to, but to them they have to leave because they just can't deal with the meta or the way the game feels in its current state, and
Yeah.
it hurts to see. And then I also have to go like divert my time away from Spellbreak to like play games with them too.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like maybe it's just a lack of change in general is what's hurting this game a little bit. Like
I
the
think
fact
it
that
is.
like the fact that I played the same exact game that I did a month ago and there hasn't been a single balance change is probably a big dampener on some of the player counts that we're seeing today. That's probably something that
Yeah,
they could definitely change.
and we were absolutely spoiled by Fortnite giving huge weekly updates every week for
Yeah.
years, a couple of years now.
Yeah.
But I don't think it needs to be that drastic either. I think just minute changes every 2 to 3 weeks would
Mhm.
go leagues for the game.
Yeah. I feel like that too. I feel like bi-weekly is like the perfect balance change schedule. Maybe I'm wrong, but I really like the way League does it. They'll give out patch notes like the day before, and
That too.
then yeah, and they always have like a PTE or PTR or whatever public test that they can refer to. Hopefully that comes out for Spellbreak. I don't know if it will, but it'd be cool.
That would be interesting. That'd be interesting to see too, the population of like veteran players, just like the level distribution of players in the public test server versus the normal.
Yeah, definitely give content creators like me something to chew on. But and on that note, we'll go ahead and end the podcast because it has been about an hour, our
Man, that
usual
flew by.
time. What's that?
That flew by.
Yeah, it always does. It's crazy, man. Like you would think that you'd run out of things to talk about, and I could talk about stuff for probably another 2 or 3 hours, but do put a time limit on these for a reason. So let's go ahead and get to our outros here. Any particular shout outs you want to really make yourself known for, like any Twitch, Twitter, anything you're working on, anything you'd like to say to the stream before we go?
Sure. I mean, go follow my Twitch if you're watching at Brett_JWH. I streamed for about 3 weeks and almost hit affiliate. So
Hey,
hit me up. If I hit that 50 followers, I'll stream again. I promise. So I can hit the thing and get emotes and such. Follow my Twitter at Brett_Harbaugh if you want to see absolutely no new content from me ever, because I don't use Twitter, but I have it. And hit me up on Discord if you actually want to talk or play games. That's where I'll be at.
Cool. And all those, the Twitter and Twitch, I know for sure, are in the description of this stream. So if you want to check them out, just get a little copy paste action. You'll find them there. I've been OSK. You can find me at the very bottom of the description. Y'all know who I am. That's why you're here. So there you go. But guys, thanks for joining in this episode of SpellCast. It is a weekly podcast that I'll be putting on from now until I get bored. So we try to do it weekends at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm actually going on vacation for these next few weeks. So what you're going to see is some pre-recorded sections for the next 2 weeks. These will be recorded probably tomorrow, so you probably won't see any new chapter-related things. But January 2nd is when I'm planning on returning. So, Brett, you've been great. Thanks for joining us on here and giving us that perspective from the new Element. What do you call it? Element tournament designer. What's the official title?
We don't know, man. Event organizer, new administrator, not
Ooh.
clickbait.
Hey, that'd be cool.
We don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, thanks for having me. I loved being here and getting to talk.
Yeah, it's always great to have you, man. Definitely have you on again in the future, especially as things develops. Guys, it's been a great show. Thanks for joining in, and I will catch you all next week. Have a good one.